Hey everyone, welcome back to our 10-step series to buying a great home here in Central Maryland. My name is Jeremy Weiss. I am a local realtor here in Central Maryland, and you're tuning in for part 2 of our 10-step guide to buying a great home. In this video, we're going to talk about getting pre-approved for a mortgage, or step number 2. If you guys missed the first video in our series, we talked about how to find your agent and why finding your agent is such an important first step along the way. If you missed it, again, please take a look in the channel. We have it here. And oh, by the way, just so you don't miss any of our future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there. That way you know whenever our newest video comes out. To get started, let's start with what exactly pre-approval is. It's something that's on everybody's mind, and quite frankly, everyone is scared to do it. So tell you what, let's just dive into it, and we're going to talk about why it's so important. When you buy a home, for most people, it is the most expensive purchase that they're going to make in their lifetime. Most people also don't have that amount of cash laying around to pay for a house in cash. So in order to do that, they're going to have to borrow money in order to purchase that home. Now, let's say you have a friend who wanted to borrow $100 from you. Before you lend them that $100, you're going to want some type of reassurance that your friend is going to be able to pay you back, right? In other words, let's say your friend was unemployed, right? Or they weren't really good about keeping their commitments. You'd probably be a little more hesitant to lend them the money, and understandably so. So what you might do is you may say to them, well, hey, if you pay me back by next week, then just pay me back the $100. But for every week after that you don't pay me, you'll owe me an extra $1. Maybe that would make them pay you back sooner, or at the very least, you're going to be making some money on this particular loan. So this is the whole mortgage and interest piece, kind of taken down to a very small level. Now, when you buy a home, this is going to happen on a bigger scale, and that is the whole mortgage loan and interest process. So with pre-approval, it is a process where a lender such as a bank or a mortgage broker is going to look at your financial picture and determine if you qualify for a loan, and if so, how much would they lend you, or how much would you be able to borrow? You see, banks are not in the business of lending money to people that can't pay it back. If they were, our country would be in financial ruins. Case in point, look back at what happened leading up to and during the Great Recession in 2007 and 2008. Banks issued loans to people that, quite frankly, couldn't afford them. And then when the terms came due, a lot of people were in bad circumstances because of the economic recession, and therefore they subsequently lost their homes to short sale or foreclosure, and all kinds of bad things happened. So after that entire debacle, there was something called the CFPB, or the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, formed, and the purpose of them is to protect consumers from fraudulent business practices. The CFPB instituted much more stringent lending guidelines, and these guidelines did a better job at making sure loan applicants could afford their mortgage and continue to live in their home and pay for things like groceries, utilities, fuel for your car, clothing, etc. So guys, let's fast forward to today. In step number 2, we have you talk to a lender to get pre-approved for a loan. When you talk to that lender, they're going to ask you to fill out their loan application. And by doing that application, they're going to gain a better idea of your financial picture. Now, I apologize to you now. When you go to fill out that application, usually it takes about an hour or so, and it's a little bit energy and it's a little bit time consuming to do. However, it is 100% necessary in order for them to begin the pre-approval process. What the lender will do is, first, they will look at your loan application. From there, they are generally going to do an inquiry into your credit to see what you owe money on, and to see if there are any other major financial red flags that they would need to know. Financial red flags are things like previous foreclosures, bankruptcies, short sales, anything like that. Now, keep in mind, all of these things give them clues into your repayment habits, okay? Once they have an idea of how much debt you have and how you like to repay your debt, They then are going to take a look at things like your pay stubs and your bank statements. They want to look to see how much money you make before taxes. Okay, it's the gross amount of money. And then they want to see what else you're paying money for every month. Once they have that whole picture, they now have a sense of your financial situation. They can give us a pre-approval as long as you qualify, and they will give us a pre-approval for a particular amount of money. Now, one thing to note, this particular amount of money that they're going to pre-approve you for is not the amount of money that you have to spend, but rather you should look at it as this is the max amount that I can spend. Okay, so for example, if they pre-approve you for $1 million and you don't want to spend $1 million, you don't have to. Okay, it just gives you a ceiling up to where you could spend. Now, the other thing that a lender can do is they're going to let you know about any special programs that you may qualify for. These are things like the Maryland Mortgage Program, which can help with first-time home buyers, FHLB grants, and they also know about different loan programs, things like VA loans for current and retired members of the armed services, or USDA grants or USDA loans for people who are interested in purchasing homes to be used for farming or agricultural purposes. So they know about all of those things. Here at the Jeremey Weiss Homes team, we have a list of lenders that we work with on a daily basis and whom we trust implicitly. Who you work with is super important, and we're going to save that for a video in the future. But just know who you work with is super important to you having success in this real estate market. Now, once you guys have your pre-approval in hand, congratulations, all is good. We're now pre-approved and you are ready. You are ready to move on to step number 3, which is looking for that great home. So for now, guys, we're going to keep you in suspense about that one until next week, but don't worry, we will talk about that next week. If you guys have any questions about step number 2, please feel free to comment below and we'll get to your comments there, or feel free to reach out to us at our contact information down below, and we would love to chat with you. Thanks again for tuning in to step number 2 of our 10 steps to buying a great home. I'm Jeremy, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks so much.